What's up, everybody? Welcome back to This Weird House. I am Nick Boddick, and today we have a very special guest, a guy I'm surprised that I'm talking to. He is the second of the long list of Philadelphia comedians that I have on my list of people I want to talk to. He is the host of one of 4 Patreons I still subscribe to, the End Podcast. This is Mr. Ryan Shaner. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, thank you for having me, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
What do you mean you can't believe you're talking to me?
Dude, like,
what do you mean you can't believe you're talking?
Dude, I've been watching you since the days of You Fucked It, and like I've been a fan for a long time. So it's weird. Like, it's the same when I talk to. I was just saying I talk to authors mostly. Like, these are people that I've been like people who have like inspired my own writing and like influenced my own shit.
Got it.
And fucking yeah, dude. Like, you're a comic I've been watching for a long time. It's just cool. Like,
well, I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Fucking so in addition to comedy and podcasting, you're a wrestler, right?
Yeah, every now and again I'll professionally I'll use quotes super hard because sometimes I do not get paid that much. So it's like what is professional wrestling? And it's shitty because sometimes, like, you know, I follow a lot of wrestling like on Instagram and like pages that are just like clips of old shit. And the other day I saw a thing on Facebook where it was like the breakdown of payments that, like, for whatever reason, Ted Turner and the WCW in like 1998 had to release like financial records, and finding out that like Hulk Hogan, keep in mind he's still in WCW. This is like 1998. He's still making like $13 million just, and you're like, Hogan can't even really walk. Like, how the fuck is that guy still making? And then you find, even at the bottom, like the lowest, it was like some random dude who was in like a stable. He was just like he's still making like, you know, $200,000 a year. I'm like, yo, that's righteous bucks, dude. Like, I've never,
yeah, dude.
Part of me is like, yo, if it was me, it would just say full tank of gas. That's all. I'm like, yo, in 1998, that's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the fucking like the lowest paid player in the NBA still makes like $125,000 a year for not playing a second of basketball.
It's
during
wild.
Like, a season.
One of my dreams would be like, you know, like to have like a good side hustle, but like, or like something I'm really passionate about. But if I was just like blessed with like God-given athletic ability, just do well enough, go to college, get drafted by like an NFL team and be like third string and just like never have to do anything.
Dude, you would just coast. You'd make enough money to live on. Like, it fucking baffles me, dude, when like pro athletes will go bankrupt.
Oh, I know, man.
Give me 10% of 1 year of their salary. I'll be set for life.
It is wild when you see a guy who's like, I was making like $14 million. I had this contract that was like unheard of. And now it's like, you know, I don't know what to do with my life. It's like, how did you fuck up? If you gave me $10,000, I would have that same conversation in my head. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm just going to be bankrupt. Like, how crazy could I blow $10,000? I'm like, I guess I'll just be able to like get really cool fast food for the next year and a half. Like, that's where my brain goes.
Instead of Chick-fil-A, we're going to Olive Garden 4 times a week. Yeah, I'd be like,
yo, did you guys ever hear of the Sizzler? Oh, no, it's not around anymore. Well, we're going. We're going to find the only Sizzler in Eastern Pennsylvania, and we're all going. On me, guys. On me. On me.
Oh, man, fucking Pennsylvania. I told Rain, I've only been to Pennsylvania one time, and it was literally the worst experience of my entire life. I'm not like, and it wasn't Pennsylvania's fault. I won't go through the whole story again. So
it's always Pennsylvania's fault.
Fair.
In fact, that was the slogan of Pennsylvania. Instead of "You got a friend in PA," it was like, "It's always Pennsylvania's fault."
Okay, like, yeah, I can kind of blame it on Pennsylvania itself for me for not making it apparent enough where I could buy heroin when I was there. And I hear that there's places like Kensington where I wish I would have gone
pretty much advertising 24/7.
That's what I'm saying. So like, it was pretty much like a user error on my part.
Yeah,
like,
you fucked
so
up.
This is back in the day. Like, I've been sober going on 9 years now.
Wait, did you say user error?
Yeah.
No pun intended, man. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty decent, right?
That's pretty sick. Write that one down.
But yeah, dude, I went to visit my dad, and this is before anybody knew that I was a full blownsies heroin addict. And I thought I brought enough drugs with me, and all
Tale
of
as
it was
old as
gone.
time.
Yeah, dude, yeah. Every addict ever has had that issue. They were gone by the first night. By the third day, I was like, long story short, I was in a Minneapolis airport after getting sent back early because I was just a miserable fuck. And I threw up all over this black dude in the airport. And then as I was standing up to apologize, I shit myself. And
Classic.
I know, right? If I had a nickel, it was the worst fucking experience. Literally the worst experience of my life, dude.
Damn, dude.
And yeah, man, I wish I would have. You're sober too, right?
Yeah, it was 3 years, and that's, you know what sucks? It's been 3. It was 3 years in March. March 8th was
Congratulations.
3. You know what? I thank you, but like, let's just rewind back 3 seconds ago. Where you're like, I was a full blown heroin addict, and I threw up on a black guy in an airport, and I shit myself. I could just be like, yeah, I was drinking way too much after work. Yeah, and it's like when you get sober from like just drinking, because I wasn't like I did a lot of drugs when I was in high school and like, right. I can't say college years. I can say junior college years. I kind of was doing like stuff like that. And like the last drug I like experimented with was I did DMT. And even that was okay, and like, cause I don't like really go after drugs. Like part of me is like, I just don't care. I think like it's one of those things you really gotta want. And I think it with DMT and like other, especially hallucinogens, I think like you have to like, your mind's got to be open. You got
Yeah.
to be receptive. That's not what I want. I don't want to have to be like, no, you have to like let it take you. I'm like, no, work. Just work. Like, isn't that
Do what
what
you're
drugs are?
supposed to do.
Yeah, is that what drugs are supposed to do? Because, like, I knew it worked. If I drank a fifth of Old Granddad, that was going to work. And I knew it was going to work. And I didn't have to, like, worry about anything. Like, anybody who was like, man, like, I got this shitty bag of Coke, or I got this, like, fucking, like, just crap-ass fucking, like, heroin, or, like, this fucking Molly is now, like, as strong. Dude, that sucks. And that's a lot of money to throw down the fucking toilet. But I'd rather drink a bottle of like, I know this fuel is going to go into this gas tank and I'm going to get where I need to be. No
Yeah.
problem. And if I have to stop at another gas station to get more, I will. And it will be no problem.
And it's that, dude, that like, so, I mean, I think like coming off of other drugs is, I think objectively, I think, and maybe it's just personal experience, I don't know, but like heroin is fucking terrible to come off of. And I know
I
like
can't imagine.
alcohol's no picnic, obviously.
Sure.
But I think that staying sober, it's easier to stay sober from heroin than it is from alcohol, I think.
Yeah. And you know why? It's because you can't just go to a bar and be like, yo, can I get one needle, please? Like,
Let me get a quarter gram,
like,
please.
no, like, what are you guys doing? Are you, oh, you can't, like, it's not like you're going to go to a barbecue and someone's like, yo, it's 4th of July. You know how it goes.
A platter of just heroin rocks.
You didn't see Stone Cold Steve Austin coming up with 2 fucking syringes, cracking them over his head, and then injecting it into. Everyone loves booze. I get it.
Yeah.
I got it. It's like alcohol has a golden halo, and you're never ever gonna get rid of it. And it's like the other thing with alcohol now is like, I hate to like make myself sound old. It annoys me when I see like alcohol advertising that it's got like I've talked about it before, antioxidants in it, and it's got like vitamins in it. It's like, yo, if you're gonna get fucked up, might as well get that like fucking, wait, do you need vitamin D? Oh my god, this has got it, bro. This has got it.
Yeah, like who's drinking to be healthy?
That's exactly right. Like that's not what I want.
No one is conscientiously being like, oh, well, I could get the absolute vodka or I could get the one that has vitamin C in it.
Even like I came from like growing up where like now, like when I was a kid, if there was an adult male drinking light beer, people made fun of them. People were like, dude, light beer? Are you gay or something? Like, what happened? Like, what are you trying to get? You was trying to slim down? Shut up.
Right, trying to cut those calories.
But now it's like, I mean, let's see. I started drinking pretty heavily. Like I started like drinking a lot when I was like 14, 15, 16. And like I remember going to parties and beer was like just the mainstay, and if you could somehow snag a bottle or whatever, that was like the thing. But like looking back on it, like we went on dumb kicks that like looking back, I'm like, man, we were super lame. Like when Smirnoff Ices exploded, you had to have those, and
Oh
even if
yeah.
you hated them, they were just around it. Like it got to that's where I became very. I think one of the dangers with me drinking was that I never had like a drink of choice. I was like, no, dude, whatever the fuck you got, I
If it'll
don't
fuck you
care
up, you'll
what it
take it.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't care. And but then there was like times like when I was in high school, like when Bacardi Limon blew up,
Yeah,
like
dude.
everybody had handles of those, and everyone was like, "Yo, man, you gotta get like if we're partying, yo, get the Limon." We went on Limon kicks like idiots, and looking back, it just tasted like lemonade someone farted on. It just did not like honestly, it
It
tasted
was
like
not good.
it was never good. But we were like,
Yeah.
"Yo, this is how." And it also came down like if you're getting Smirnoff Ice, if you're getting Bacardi Limon, if you're getting any flavored shit, you're like, yo,
For
chicks will
sure.
do
Oh,
it.
for sure, dude.
I also came from like a place growing up where drinking Corona, that was like, ooh, are women coming over? Like it was just like we
We don't
got
have to put on
chicks over.
airs tonight,
I was
do
like,
we?
what are you doing? Are women coming here? Like you thought, like if it was like not Budweiser or it was like a lighter colored beer, you were like, yo, is there like chicks around? Like I honestly would think that, but no, it's just like people trying to cut back on calories. But now it's like the reason alcohol is so accepted is just because like the rise of like mom drunk and
Mm-hmm.
even like painting with a twist. That's a whole thing, just like, yo, come here, paint a vase, and have a bottle of wine and get fucked up. Like nobody cares.
Yeah.
There's no shooting up with a twist. There's no lines with a twist. There's like,
Yeah,
it's just
dude.
like, yo, what are we doing here? Like, yo, we're getting fucked up on methamphetamine and we're gonna do pottery. It's gonna be awesome. Nobody wants that. Nobody does that.
Ceramics with a hypodermic.
Yeah, dude, it's just like what? Nobody.
Yeah,
That's
man.
that's where booze comes into it. It's like it's just like a such a accepted thing, and yeah, it is harder. Like what you were saying, it's I guess in that aspect it is easier to get over heroin because like if you go out in certain places, in most places, unless you're still hanging out with your heroin addict friends,
Exactly.
you will be in situations where it's not just going to be available. In fact, most people are like, "What are you doing?" But booze is literally everywhere. It's
Everywhere.
inescapable.
Dude, fucking Walgreens has liquor
Everywhere.
aisles. Like
Everywhere, dude.
every gas station, every corner store, everywhere. It's crazy. And like the advertisements for it, like it's beyond just accepted. Like
No,
like
it's
we
not
we
it's the rule. It's not
exactly.
it's the rule, dude. Like
Yeah,
you
for sure.
you got to have booze. And it's like even if you were sober, like say I was throwing a party, if you think for 1 second I'm not going out and getting like 30 racks of fucking beer, you're out of your mind. Like, cause I know that people will want to have a beer. I'm never gonna be like, no, yeah, sorry, this is a dry
Right,
house. Oh,
yeah.
that's
Same here.
stupid. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, every show I do, every club I've ever worked at, like even open I've done shows that were in like AA buildings, and then like down the street there's a bar where people are like, yo, what are you doing after the fucking? I'm like, didn't we just what? So it's like, and then your friends, you're like, yeah, man, I'm glad we were performing for these people who are really struggling. I'm like, I'm gonna go get fucking. I need a
Yeah,
shower.
let's go get fucked up, dude.
And I get it. I totally get it. Like it's not.
Mhm.
I'm never like shitting on any of those people. I
Yeah,
I
same here.
totally understand. But yeah, it is harder to escape. But it's like you get real good at like Irish goodbying. Like
Yeah.
you just are like I can only be around for so long, and now I'm gonna fucking bounce.
Yeah. It's a fucking wonderful excuse for getting out of places you don't want to be.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
learned that, like,
Yeah.
if there's any kind of like, if there's even a little bit of drinking, I'm like, all right, nice. I have the excuse that if I don't want to be here, I can just be like, this is making me uncomfortable. If I
Oh
stay here
yeah.
longer, I'm gonna
Yeah.
relapse. If this one person drinking a Smirnoff Ice continues, I will
I'm
be
gonna
doing heroin
relapse
by the end of the
so
week.
hard. I'm sorry. It's just like one thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
dude,
that's where I think I should get like a support animal to like walk around with. It's like, no. It's like I have this chihuahua with me at all times to remind me that alcohol doesn't control me. It's like, you're in a fucking Walmart, sir. I'm like, I know. I just could lose my mind at any moment.
and this Walmart has a liquor
I'm
aisle.
sorry, you
Thank you
guys
very
have a
much.
beer garden. Yeah, beer
Yeah, dude.
garden.
I remember I definitely drank heavy for a long time. Like before I discovered what I found to be the joy of drugs, I drank all the
Yeah,
time. And
yeah.
like I remember the thing that prompted me to start, like the first time I ever drank, I was like I think like I was 15, I think. And I there was this kid, Boon Vang. I don't know why I just said his full
Sick.
name. He might be dead at this point,
Dude,
actually.
his name is Boon Sean Fang. That
Yeah,
guy's
dude.
dead as fuck, dude.
Yeah, dude. We were in the same speech class, and he came to school. This is our sophomore year of high school, and he came to school with a water bottle full of vodka, as one does.
Yeah.
And they kind of like, the teacher just kind of like drew names out of a hat for who would give a speech. And this is like third hour of the day, and Boon was just fucking annihilated by this point in the day, and he got picked to give his speech, and it was like the funniest thing I've ever seen. And for whatever reason, and my dumbass, like, dude, he fucking was like stumbling up the stairs, tripping over his words. He like
What was
repeated
his speech
paragraphs.
about?
I honestly, I don't even
Damn
remember.
it.
But I think
Damn it.
I want to say 90% sure it was on how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because it was just like an instructional speech. Like mine was like, I think, how to like properly slab a comic book, because I'm a fucking dork.
Ah, yeah, whatever.
But like the yeah, I'm 90% sure his was on making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and he
Man.
fucked it up so bad, dude.
But
And
I think that's most people's experience. Like, if you ever had a dad that drank,
oh yeah,
you probably ran into the peanut butter and jelly sandwich speech drunk. Was like, so all you gotta do is you lay it down.
you gotta spread it to the edges.
That's fine. It was like, you can throw bananas on there. Fucking Elvis did that, and look at him. He's a king. He's a king for a reason. I'm king of your household. It's like that's great. Boon Sean Bang, dude. Shout out.
Yeah, man.
Cheers to
Yeah,
that,
but
dude.
dude, in my dumbass brain, for whatever reason, I was like, that looks like fun. And then that weekend, I went to like my first party, and I got drunk. And dude, I really like, that was the one and only time I drank in high school. I didn't start doing anything until I was like 19, and that's when I
Okay.
picked up cigarettes and started drinking like full bottles of vodka every day. And I just like went from 0 to 100, and before I knew it, I was addicted to like everything, dude. Like,
Man.
it's crazy. Yeah,
Did you
except
get?
meth.
I was gonna say, did you get like you know how they give out the chips for sobriety? Did you get the chips for like
Each
merit badges
individual
for
one.
new drugs? Hell yeah, dude!
Right?
That
Like,
would have been
and
sick.
in theory, I could,
Yeah.
because like, yeah, they have like heroin anonymous, cocaine anonymous, meth anonymous.
Man.
Oh yeah, I never did meth. I cooked meth once.
You know what? I dabble.
Dude, in a Ford F-350.
You're like, yo,
Did
man, like, I've never done it, but I'm pretty good at shit. Like, I have actually a healthy palate. I don't want to fuck it up, but I'll make you the best, man.
dude, shake and bake all day.
Hell yeah, dude. All right. I can
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, dude. Fucking yeah, that was a weird time in my life.
But you know what the crazy thing is because when I was a kid, especially in middle school and high school, we were always warned about like the dangers of honestly just pot.
Mhm.
Pot was like the biggest danger you could have, and like they just like touched on heroin. It was like,
Yeah.
like it was just like, heroin is bad, but pot will ruin your
This
whole
is the
life.
one you got to look out for.
And
yeah.
really, when it comes down to like the idea of a gateway drug, booze is the gateway.
Mhm,
Booze
for
is
sure.
it's not even the gateway. It's the entire thing the gateway is built
Yeah,
on.
it's the
Like,
gateway and the garden. Yeah,
it's
for
everything.
sure.
Like, I don't think I would have ever started, smoking pot or taking mushrooms or fucking around with like prescription drugs if I hadn't been drinking. Drinking
Same here.
lowers your ambitions to a point where you're not like afraid of that shit, and you're just like, yeah, fuck it,
hundred percent.
I'll fucking do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally true, but you're never gonna ruin alcohol. Alcohol will
Yeah.
never be killed. It will never. It's like because alcohol is like related to times of triumph and glory. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you get a bottle of champagne when you win a
Exactly.
race. It's like you toast. We used to christen ships with fucking booze. We probably
Yeah.
still do. It's like you're not going to see that with like someone throwing like a bag of fucking you know blue meth on the fucking side of a fucking like cruise liner. Like, yo, we got to make sure this is blessed properly. That's
We got to make smooth sailing
yeah.
ahead, and this is the way to do it.
This ship is gonna get here faster than you fucking even know. That'll never happen. It's on
Yeah.
booze all the way.
Yeah, man. Fucking. Uh, switching lanes here. How'd you get into comedy? Like, what made you?
How did
What
I?
made you? Yeah. Like, what?
Let's see. I mean, growing up, I mean, I was pretty. I wouldn't say that I was like privileged in the way that I always had cable, but I was pretty privileged in the way that we always had cable. When people talk about privilege growing up, I'm like, I had fucking HBO and Prism.
And Showtime.
We dunked on that. So I watched a lot of like, just a lot of like when Comedy Central back in, especially like the early '90s, going into the late '90s. During the day, it was just like nothing but stand up, and then there were sometimes variety shows like or sketch shows, and then even that was when they were playing like SNL, like it got syndicated. It was just on like fucking Comedy Central all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would watch a lot of that shit, and I loved movies too. And I mean, wanted to be an actor for a really long time, and and I always goofed around. Me and my friends were always just goofy dickheads. So it wasn't until I got into like around ninth, 10th grade, I would write stand up formatted jokes. Like I would just write them. I would always write sketches and like, scripts for movies that would never ever be made. And I would just always
Mm-hmm.
fuck around and like send them my friends and shit like that. But like I would write stand up formatted jokes and like just never, I would just be like, oh, this is just like that in my head was like, it was almost like a diary. Like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want anybody to see it. And God forbid if they did. And it's like, I just really was like, oh, this is just a fun thing I'll never do anything with.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, if you were to like tell me that eventually I would do stand up, but if I had a choice, like if someone's like, yo, do you want to be on like on a sketch show or do you want to do stand up? I would have chosen sketch show. I really, really enjoyed the Upright Citizens Brigade sketch show. I really loved that show. I thought it was fucking off the wall and really fucking funny and so well written that like all of the sketches were like, they none of them added up and then there was like one tie in to everything. It was like brilliant and I remember thinking like that was what I wanted to do. And then, by the time I graduated high school, I didn't I didn't make a plan to go anywhere really. I mean, I graduated in 2003, so I was under the impression that after 9/11, that by 2003 we would have been thrust into a global conflict, and they would have reinstituted the draft, and I wouldn't have to think about anything. And I honestly thought that I was like, "Yo, dude, I'm not gonna have to worry about shit. They're
All your
gonna give me
decisions were going to be made for you.
Yo, it don't matter. They're not gonna even be TVs, dude. When the bombs drop, it's gonna be me and my boys. I honestly thought they would just give me a gun and a direction and be like, "Yo, go shoot, go die, do whatever."
Just
So I didn't
cruising in
really.
apocalyptic hellscape.
Oh, dude, I was waiting for. I was watching I
Ready
would
for it.
watch Mad Max all the time. Be like, "Yo, I gotta get in on this, dude. I gotta get
Training
a leather
videos.
jacket with a fucking shoulder pad. I don't know why, but I need that." But I didn't really make a point to go to college, and I ended up going to a community college and majoring in fine art because I was like drawing and painting and shit. And my buddy Sean, he went to Temple and he majored in film. And while he was there, every now and again, he would like send me scripts he was working on or stuff he was like trying to do. He's like, yo, can you write me like something goofy for this? And I would just like write him complete scripts for shit or like, you know, just an outline for a sketch or like something goofy that could happen. And he ended up using them and like, you know, he was just like, I guess it was working. And he would just like, every time he had a project or was working with people, he would get hold of me and like ask for input or ask for like pointers or to punch something up or that shit. And I would do it. And then one day, we helped this one kid on this big fucking film project. And I was talking about like Sean shooting another one. And this kid, you know, we were talking and he was like, oh my God, you're that. Because I had shot this one thing with my buddy Sean where I was just like ad-libbing all this shit. Like I was pretending to be a homeless man. And he's like, because I said something, I think, in the voice of that homeless man. And he's like, are you that fucking guy? He's like, oh shit, you're the fucking dude. Oh, fuck. He's like, oh man, that was so funny. And like, you know, we were just bullshitting on that. And like, you know, you were having this like weird pipe dream thing where you're running ideas to this dude who, again, I have no idea where this guy is now. He's probably not doing anything with this fucking, you know, film degree whatsoever. But like, it was after that I wrote a bunch of like, just like, you know, almost like anecdotal jokes and like, and some were like very long formatted in paragraph form. And I sent them to my buddy. I sent them to Sean. And like, I printed out like 9 pages. And he was like, yo, these are pretty fucking ridiculous. He's like, you know what, man, you should just like fuck it and just like go try it at like an open mic. So that was like the thing that I was like, all right, we'll go try an open mic. Now in my hometown, I grew up outside of Philadelphia in a town called Spring City, which is right outside like, and it was Spring City, Royersford, Limerick, Chester, Montgomery County. There wasn't any like open mics there that weren't like, you know, poetry reading and fucking guitar shit and just dumb bullshit that I didn't want to do. So we researched and like, you know, Sean was going to Temple at the time. So he was like, yo, there's like comedy clubs in Philly that, you know, they do open mics. So the first time I tried to do stand up, I went to Helium in Philadelphia, and this is back when you had to like physically go there and sign up. Now they do it online, but you had to go there, sign up, and then like wait like 2 hours to figure out whether or not they were going to pick you. And the first like 8 times I signed up, I did not get on. So like I would drive all the way from Spring City
That
to
sucks.
Philly on a Tuesday, sign up, try to find parking, wait for a while, then go back there, find up. I didn't get on, and then I drive back. And this went on like every Tuesday for like almost like 2 months.
That
So
sucks.
yeah, dude, it was really fucking late. And I mean, I would pay for parking, and I'd get in the parking garage, and I'd just like wander around Philadelphia and like go into bars and just like, it's tonight's the night, dude. I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna be killing it, and nothing happened.
That'd
So
be so
then,
nerve-wracking, dude.
yeah, it was really annoying. So then, after you know the last time I signed up and I didn't get on, I was like, fuck. But I did research prior to that, like knowing that there was a good possibility I wasn't gonna get on, and I found a bar that did an open mic called the Tritone, which doesn't exist anymore. It's not even there anymore. And I went there for their open mic, and I got in, like I signed up, and the guy came to me, and I can't even remember the dude's name. He was like, "Whoa, so what do you do? You like you doing poetry, or you doing this and that?" I'm like, "No, I'm doing stand up." It's like, "Oh, cool. We don't get a lot of stand-ups there because it was an open mic, dude. Like straight up anything you wanted to do." So I tell him I'm gonna do stand up, and he's like, "Oh, cool. How can you do 20?" And I look at him like, 20 what? He's like, 20 minutes? I'm like, no, what the I honestly was like, what are you talking about? I like stood there and I had this like wave of fear. I didn't say anything. I kind of looked at him like, no, I can like do 5. He's like, 5. All right, yeah, make it, just do 5, you know, do your thing, get off. So I'm waiting. My buddy Sean's there, my buddy John's there, a couple of his work friends are there, and we're waiting and waiting, and like the room is pretty full. And then I'm waiting to go on, and this dude, Iron Mike, gets on stage, and he does like the room's full. He does like 20 minutes of freestyle rap with his laptop open over Jay-Z songs where you can still hear Jay-Z singing, but he's over top of it. Just say, dude, I can't even remember. I'm just like standing there while I'm like, holy shit, dude, I'm watching people get up and walk out. And like by the time I get up, it went from a crowd of maybe 30 people to maybe 10. And I was like, fuck. I was like,
Man, he cleared the room,
dude, killed it. And I was like, fuck me. So I then, I go up, and I remember telling myself, if this doesn't go well at all, like if this is like, if I get crickets or I can't talk or whatever, if this doesn't go well, this is just another pipe dream. I'm not even going to pursue it. I'm not even going to give it a second chance. I'm just going to do it and be done with it. And I went up, and it went very well. Like I all the punchlines hit. I had like, all the jokes I wanted to do worked. Everything was great. And like, I remember getting on, I'm like, oh, I can totally do this. And then the next week, didn't get on at Helium, went back to Tritone, signed up again. Now, keep in mind, I was like, I'll just do some of the same jokes I did last week, pepper in some new ones. And of course, it's the same guy there that who asked me to do 20. He's the same guy in charge of this mic. I'm on stage, and there's like a pretty, like a bigger crowd than it was last week. And I start setting up the joke, and I'm going into the premise. And then when the punchline hits, the guy who let me sign up, he yells out the punchlines to my joke. And he's like dying because he's like, that was so fuck. Yeah, that one. Ah, fuck. He's like, that was. I'm like, dude, you just fucked up.
Just shit on the whole thing.
Just let me tell the fucking jokes, you moron. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah, but no, you know what? What a dick. But he didn't.
Right, yeah,
that guy was
no.
trash. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He was
Yeah.
just pumped. So, like, he just watched a dude play a harp with a violin. He's ready for anything to happen. And then I think the next week I got on at Helium, and then, I started going to the Raven Lounge, which that was where I kind of like really got like, really cut my teeth on doing stand-up and like understanding how like a showcase show worked, and how a fucking, just how all that stuff really came together. And that was, I mean, really all said and done. Like, you just start really going back, and you get immersed in this community of people. And you like, there's people I started doing stand-up with that, some I still know, some are still doing stand-up, some are still around. And there are some people that like I've seen do stand-up for like almost a year, and then they honestly like disappear. And it is very eerie to like be around a person and like, man, this guy's so fucking good, this guy's so fun, and then it's like
poof, gone.
You wonder what awesome thing happened in their life. You're like, yo, I bet that guy got the best job in the world. It's like, that's good for him though. Good for him.
Something positive for sure took place here.
You're almost mad at, like, what? His wife got pregnant again? What a piece of shit.
Oh, that bitch.
He don't get it. He don't understand this life. And all it was just drinking until like 5 o'clock in the morning and talking about your fucking ball sack on stage to a bunch of other people who were drunk. But it was great. It really did help you develop, stage time and like timing and presence and what didn't work and what doesn't work. It was definitely a learning experience that I think a lot of people, especially then, and maybe now, people like, oh, I can do stand up, and you find out that you can't. That was another thing too, is like running into people who were like really, really pumped about doing it, and then watching them consistently, like, not do well, and then being like, yo, I fucking crushed it. I'm like, I don't know if you did, dude. And it's like, it became this thing where like a lot of guys, especially that back then, when it was like, when I say back then, I mean like 2013, 14, 15, 16, that was like, there was no coddling in the city at all. Like, if you sucked, your boys let you know how fucking bad you were. And it was like,
It's how it should be.
it's how it helps, you know, like there's
Yeah,
nothing worse than
exactly.
like having, you know, going up and like eating just not just eating your dick, but like carving it and taking savory bites of it for fucking 7 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then getting off stage and your buddy's like, yo, good set, dude. Fucking you were, I mean, yo, it was the crowd, dude. It was the crowd. It wasn't you. It was the
Yeah.
fucking crowd. Even if it wasn't you and it was the crowd, your boy's like, yo, you fucking lost them, dude. You fucking suck. And it's like, you didn't have time to be like, yo, like it would just be devastating. It would just run through your head. And there was a lot of people coming to like shows that, you know, you would think they just they were the funniest person out of their group of friends.
Oh
So
yeah.
then they were like, "Yo, I can do stand up."
That'll translate to yeah.
And really, I've said before, like, "Yo, it's like if you're the funniest person out of your group of friends, really evaluate your group of friends." Like, if I was the funny, like all of my friends make me laugh a lot. Like
Yeah.
as much as we're all trying to be fucking, you know, on top of what we're doing, like all of my friends make me laugh a fuck
Mm-hmm.
ton. I wouldn't want to be with anybody else like in the Philadelphia comedy community, especially the crew that I'm with now. Like, you know, all my boys are great. And it's like, that's what makes me laugh. I've met people who have been like, yo, I'm the funniest one out of all these motherfuckers. I'm like, yo, why would go? All your friends suck. Like
Yeah.
nobody's that good. And the other advice I would give to anybody too, when back then when they were starting, it's like, yo, I want to start doing stand up. What's the advice? Quit, quit. Don't even start doing it. Don't. It's like this very negative, like no safety net type of thing. It's like, yo, you either want it or you don't, dude. And you're gonna have
Yeah.
to get used to not just like you don't get used to the taste of shit. Don't get used to the taste of eating shit. Just get used to like the mechanism. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, get used that you're gonna have to chew up some poop at some point in time. But don't get accustomed to the taste because sometimes you're gonna get like you're gonna get good sets, you're gonna get bad sets. It's just you gotta deal with it. You gotta go with the ups and downs.
Yeah. I've for a long time I've considered start like trying to like go to I live 3 minutes away from the Milwaukee Improv. And I fucking like every Thursday they have an open mic there. And there are so many Thursdays I've considered going, but I am like you said, like if you don't know for sure you want to do it, I feel like with stand up in particular, like you said, if you're not 100% committed to doing it long term, I feel like
Yeah.
there's no point. Like,
It's
cause
it yeah.
I'm under no illusion that I'm gonna go up there on my first try and fucking just kill,
See,
and
that's
I
where you
can't
and I
deal with that.
that's where you and I are different. Because I remember there would be times where like, you know, you have this delusion of and like and they are delusions. And I knew they were delusions then. I know they're
Hmm.
delusions now. But there were times where like, you know, if you especially if you were working at Helium, if you got on the open mic at Helium, you were like, yo, I wonder if like Chris Rock will be in the crowd tonight, dude. Like, I wonder if like if he hears me crush this material, like because you wanted that like you know the stand up boom of the '80s where like you hear people who like they go to like you know the Comedy Store and they're like on you know in the main room one time and they do well and that's great. But there's like a producer in the crowd who's like, you know what? I like the cut of your jib. How about a fucking mini series starring you? It's
Yeah,
going to be 3 episodes on ABC, and then from there you'll go to movies, and then you'll fly. It's like that was what everyone, especially me, like I was like, that would be great. That was cool. You know,
yeah,
if somebody saw that. It's never like that though.
yeah. No, dude, it's taken me a long time to temper my own. I have bipolar disorder and delusions of grandeur is my bread and butter, dude.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that is the one thing that like more than anything else I have excelled at is having delusions of grandeur. That's like how my shit manifests and it's taken a long time to like I said like temper that and like dude, like so this is sort of unrelated, but like you mentioned before thinking that like the draft was going to come back and shit
yeah,
and it just
yeah,
it made me think of something when I was a fucking ecstasy addicted, unmedicated, bipolar, just fucking monster. This is back in like 2011. And one of my buddies was an Army Ranger, and he was no better than I was, but he was like, dude, your life is fucked up. You should join the military. It's gonna, like, it'll get your shit straight. And I was like, fucking, okay, dude, like, sounds good. Let's go. Take me up there. And like, I had zero interest in joining the military. And dude, like, I was a drug addict at the time. I lied to everyone all day, every day, all the time about just random shit. Like, I just lied like it was a sport. And for whatever reason, dude, that day when I was at the Army recruiting office, they asked me why I wanted to, or like, they were like, why are you signing up for the Army? And for whatever reason, dude, and I'm glad I did it, because I think, like, the Army must suck. Like, being in the military must just suck every dick, dude.
I mean, yeah,
I'm not built for it. I mean, like, you know, props, thank you, troops. Like, I do appreciate what they do and everything, but it's not for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but dude, for whatever reason, that day, I decided to not lie for a second. They were like, why do you want to join the military? And I swear to God, Brian Shane, the words that came out of my mouth were, well, I'm not saying this, like, in a weird way, but I am kind of curious what it would feel like to take another human life. And, dude,
man.
fucking, like, I saw it I was talking to like 3 recruiters, dude, and like, you could just see just the doors close on all their faces. And like,
I was hoping you were going to say that you said that, and then you stood up, threw up on a black guy, and then shit your pants. You're like, now that is, it was like, it's just a theme of my life. I get worried.
Like I said, if I had a nickel, dude.
And I shit my pants. I'm trying to be all I can be here. And I
dude, yeah, I'm telling you, man, like, I was a mess for a long time.
Well, damn.
And yeah, dude, I don't know. Yeah, that just made me think of that. I'm sorry to just cut you off, interject about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
One of my cats is throwing up right now.
Whoa, is he shit his pants? Is there a black guy over
there? There's no black people in my house right now, so everyone's safe for the
moment.
That
you know of.
Exactly. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, dude, I have 5 cats, man.
And 5?
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. That is. I mean, I dated a chick who had 9 cats, and that is
that's the fucking dream, dude.
Is that the dream?
Hell yeah, dude. Me and my fiance are trying to get a house kind of in the middle of nowhere right now, like close enough to like our lives and shit that we won't have to drive an hour into fucking life every day, but secluded enough that we can get cats and they can have kittens and we can just keep all of them. Like, the dream is to have 1 million cats.
That is you're the first heterosexual man I've ever heard say that in my life.
Dude, I fucking love cats.
You know what the dream is? Just be a cat lady with the
dude.
I guess so, man. I don't know.
I love cats, dude. Look, I fucking love pussy, dude.
Look, I can't say, you know, as a guy who grew up with dogs, a guy who grew up with cat, I had, like, my girlfriend just moved in. There's 2 cats running around here now. I can't. I'll say that I like dogs and I like cats. I would never say that I'm a dog or a cat person. I will say, though, I have never been cock blocked by a cat. I've been cock blocked by dogs. I've been, you know, I've dated women or gone over to, like, you know, a person, you're like, oh, we're just fooling around. And they have a dog that has, like, you know, separation anxiety or is a rescue and is nuts and can't be out of the room. And it's like trying to get it. It's like fucking Jack Torrance from The Shining smashing through the fucking doors, thinking it's like, what are you doing? 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 Who's this? I gotta lick it. I gotta lick you. I gotta lick. Like
Jack Russell Torrance.
That never happens with a cat. Never happens with a cat. You know? So yeah, I guess I can respect dude, and it's your life, dude. I want you to have 1 million cats, dude.
Thank you.
I want you to have so many. If I could have 1 cat, I'd want, you know what I would want? I'd want a house where I have 3 F1 Savannahs, and that's all I ever have. Do you know what Savannah is?
Fuck yeah, dude. We have a 3rd generation Savannah.
Well, you got a 3? Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, dude.
But now imagine 3 F1s, and then that's all that's in your house, and you have to worry constantly. That's what I want.
Like, of literally being eaten while you sleep.
Yeah, it's like, what happens? Like, yeah, we don't know where that other one is. You know what? I've only seen 2 of them. They're like velociraptors. You know, like, if you see the first 2, you're fucked. because
Yeah,
you're gonna
dude.
die by the one you don't see. It's like, yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
dude,
sick.
I was trying to think of like what like the most like hardcore badass pet could be. Like if you could have anything, like if there were no like state laws and shit.
Oh, I
Like,
mean, I think having a like, and again, I was a kid. I never. It's not that I didn't like zoos. I didn't like the idea of zoos, and
mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Same here.
I don't like SeaWorld. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the idea of having like a wild animal caged up. Like as a kid, I
Agreed.
was like, oh, neat. These are animals. But like you get a little older, you're like, oh man, these things don't seem that pumped. Like it's
Right,
like
like it's fucked up. Like
yeah,
they
a
need to
little bit.
be out in the wild.
But I mean, if you were to have anything in your house where like I'd have to think one, I would not want like lizards. I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
want like a Komodo dragon seems cool, but you can't like reason with a Komodo dragon. You can't
Yeah.
reason with a reptile. And even when you can, like it's just like assumed reason. And like, don't get me wrong, do I think I can reason with a fucking grizzly bear? No. But my brain thinks like, yo, we're both mammals. Like, yo, dude, come on.
We
Like
could come
you
to some kind of understanding.
like let me like and it's like when you hear people like if you just make yourself look big a bear will leave you alone like yo that's a bear seeing you try. It's not that he's scared of you,
Yeah.
it's that a bear's like, you know what, this guy's putting forth an effort, all right, he's trying
I
to,
respect it.
he doesn't want to kill me, he's got no gun, he's just trying to get me out of here, you know what, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, a bear would be dope, a mountain lion would be fucking sick,
That
but
that's
like
where like I started thinking about that is like I was thinking how fucking sick it would be to have like a bobcat. And of course I
oh
do
sick.
like I come to the fucking conclusion obviously that like it would be terrible for the bobcat.
Oh yeah,
And like so obviously I would never do some shit like that cuz I see like Instagram videos of people that have like actual fucking bobcats like on leashes at their house and I'm like
yeah,
that's sick but like that's kind of sick. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I don't think I'd want to ever put like I would never like weirdly enough, I would never want to put a leash on on a wild animal or
Mhm.
like on a chain or a tether or anything like that. I wouldn't even want to put it in a cage. I would never want. I also think it is crazy when people dress their dogs up. I kind of like. I'm like, what is this? However, if like I did own a bear and I could somehow get that bear to wear like camo pants all the time, that would be sick as fuck. Like
Dude,
just like, yo,
a
who's that
full
out there? I'm like,
tuxedo.
yeah. Yeah, or yeah, just a wild or you know what would be great? A bear wearing a bear costume all the time. Like he could just take off his head and it's another bear inside. Like, what is this? I'm like,
Dude,
yeah,
like
that
a
is my
polar bear wearing a grizzly costume or like
oh, that would be
a
sick.
grizzly costume wearing like a black bear costume. Fuck
Oh
yeah, dude.
man. That'd be awesome. That would be
Just
the
bear
coolest thing.
inception.
Yeah. Embarrassing? I'd be fucking all about it.
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. I remember, dude, I fucking like I don't know if you follow like MMA at all, but like Khabib Nurmagomedov or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
fucking there's videos of him when he was a kid, like wrestling with bears. I did that shit. I was like I was like 8 years old. We were up north at my family's cabin, and I don't know like what the circumstances were, but I've seen the pictures of it, so I know it happened. Like I fucking was like rolling around in the fucking dirt with a bear,
That's
like
awesome.
a little, the thing was fucking small, like for a bear, but
Yeah.
like yeah, I'm basically an MMA fighter now. I guess is
That's
like
I
what it
mean
comes down
that's
is what it comes down
I
to.
mean, when it comes down to check marks, you can check off in a box. Like maybe I don't have all the training, but I did get this one. That's like above other things. Like, yo, where's your cardio
Yeah,
at? I'm like, I have no idea. Did you wrestle a bear at 8? I
exactly.
don't think you did. I don't think you did, fuckface. Get out of here. I would be, dude, I would have that picture blown up and framed in my house. If
Ah,
I
yeah,
had
dude, I gotta
any,
find it.
yeah, you should. If I had
Ah, yeah.
any photo of me as a child wrestling a wild animal, get out of here. I'm
Yeah,
having
dude.
that. I'm getting that on T-shirts, mugs, mouse pad. I'm going through the
Billboards.
entire custom ink thing. I'm just like, yo, I need this on hoodies. I need this on fucking. I need it on everything.
Every item they
Every
have,
article of
yeah,
clothing.
dude. um, what was I gonna say? Oh, so if you fucking when you get rich as fuck, like when you just fucking blow up, it'll
Please.
happen. It'll happen, dude. That's like the end
I
will
mean,
take off.
I'm glad you have faith in me. And you know, it's funny. I say that same thing to my landlord all the time when he's like, "Yo, where's the rent?" I'm like, "Yo, when I blow up, dude, I'm telling you, when I am rich as fuck, you'll get your back. I'll get you the rent. I get you the rent." It's like it doesn't work for everybody. When everyone says like, you know, like, "Yo, money's not everything," that is a phrase that either
That's
the
such
Uber,
bullshit.
dude, I can't say that to like billing companies. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like when fucking PGW's like, "Yo, we're about to shut off your gas." I'm like, "Yo, money isn't everything, dude. Like, you guys calm down. Why don't you look around you? Go outside. You know what you need to do? Get out of that cubicle. Go outside in the sun."
Take
It's
some of
like,
that money you love so much, go try
yeah,
to buy some happiness.
yeah. Why don't you try? I bet you can. I bet you can. I bet you can. You know what I want you to do? I want you to go in the mirror. I want you to go to the bathroom, go in the mirror, and say 3 nice things you like about yourself, and then come back and try and charge me for gas. I bet you won't be able to do it. I bet you won't. He's like, love, dude. Can I pay with love? No, they don't want that. But yeah, when I get my millions of dollars, go on,
Yeah, dude,
go
fucking
on.
what is like the first, like what is something ridiculous you would buy?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like just some like, I don't know. Like I always used to joke what I would do if I would like it was get like a belt that was just fully all diamonds, like constructed fully of
Oh, just
diamonds.
all the way diamonds.
Yeah, all diamonds. Like there's
All
no leather that like
just
it just
tiny.
fused together diamonds. Yeah, like the buckle, the
All the
actual
stitching is
belt.
just tinier diamonds. It's like
It's
this
just
is
like diamond weave.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
dude.
that would be sick. That's top tier. That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
What would I
So
do? If I had a lot of money, I think I honestly would I'd buy a submarine. I'd buy a submarine and then try and park it in the worst place in Philadelphia and just leave it there. And I and I would wait for all the tickets to show up, and I'd be like, "Yo, you're gonna put a boot on my ring, dude? Get out of here!" So
so
like,
you
yo,
would get rich just to be an asshole?
I would just for the fuck the PPA. I'm doing it just for the PPA. Let's see, what else would I do that would be fucking good? I designed so years ago when I was in high school. I think it was right before 9/11 because I started putting. Man, if I had done it post, I would have been seen as a terrorist. But I I designed a catapult that like. I would build.
Dude, go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
So I had a construction systems class, and it was like, you know, after designing, like, I think one thing we had to design was a bathroom, which was fucking retarded. And then like there was other things like you could just design, and like there was a thing that said military heart, like, you know, like military applications, and like you could pick that as like a subject. And a couple people did, and they designed like planes or like, you know, barracks, like something like that. But I designed this thing, and I did end up getting an F. Like they just didn't, he just didn't want it. But I designed this like side. So you ever seen anti-aircraft gun where like the people sit in it, and
Mm-hmm.
there's like almost like a cage, and like you have the two cranks on the side to make the gun go up and like aim it.
Yep.
So imagine that is the first part where you can aim up and down, but there's a side loader that has a bunch of chainsaws in it. So then they fall, like, you know, they're just like, you know, there's a feeder. They fall, and as they fall, there's a thing that pulls the cord and starts them. And as they're falling, there's an aerosol that sprays them with gasoline, and then there's another thing that lights them on fire and then shoots them out of the catapult. So now you just have a gun that is shooting flaming operating chainsaws. I was like, yo, how sick would that be? It's like, what are the practical applications? None. What is the intimidation factor? So much. It's like, yo, we don't even, like, we have so much money for weapons that we're just throwing fucking crazy Pee Wee Herman shit at you.
If you
We have
saw that
no
on a
idea.
battlefield, you would just see a bunch of in your rear view.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like, you know, you wind back the clock to, you know, like you know, the Roman Empire where they're showing up with siege engines, and they're showing up with those big fucking like bow and arrow things that are like the
uh-huh.
size of cars, and they're showing up with the Trojan. Dude, imagine building the Trojan horse, being like, oh fuck. Yo,
Yeah,
that's a
dude.
sick idea.
For
If
real.
you bring back wild ass, like, what the fuck weapon, people would be like, yo, what the fuck? Like, they wouldn't even know what to do. It's like, yo, we're not going to go after this country. It's like, why? It's like, so they got this one thing that just doesn't.
You wouldn't even believe me if I told you.
It defies all logic, actually. And we've been trying to get them for a while because they parked their fucking submarine downtown.
Boom,
like,
instant callback.
You know? It was sick.
Dude, so real quick. So first off, my uncles and I used to try to come up with like the most hardcore like name. Like if we're going to have a kid and you wanted to name it just something cool as shit, what it would be. The final one we came up with, Chainsaw Dynamite Chew Spit Botic. And Chainsaw Dynamite, that just reminded me of Chainsaw Dynamite. So I mentioned that as much as I possibly can.
Chainsaw Dynamite sounds like, you know, I don't know if that's the best stripper or the worst stripper ever.
Yeah, dude.
If you went to a club like coming onto the pole right now, Chainsaw Dynamite. It's like,
you'd either be very pleasantly surprised or very disappointed.
Or you know right away. Yeah,
or
I
it's
thought
like
about
the Tuesday afternoon D squad, yeah.
You know, like it's funny, my buddy, a buddy of mine, not the Sean I had talked about previously, another buddy of mine named Sean, he had talked when we were in middle school that if you ever had a kid, he would name it Commander. So the kid's name would be Commander Urban. Like, so like it's just like no matter what, he's always Commander. He's like, and then I have another one, name it Admiral. It's like, yo, dude, that's fucking wild.
Damn, just knowing you have not a bad idea.
It's like, yo, who's this? Like, this is my son Sergeant Shaner. It's like, yo. Also, if my last name was Slaughter, you know.
Oh.
Like, you can't give me that last one. Fucking baller last name. Two, you'd be doing America a disservice if you didn't name
100%.
If at least a middle name, like, yo, this is Christopher Sergeant Slaughter. I'd be like, yo, come on.
Yeah, dude.
That's
for
sick.
Real. Have just instantly high-ranking members of your family. Yeah,
just straight up to the top.
Cutting the line, dude. Fucking okay. So that project you mentioned, I know we're running out of time here, but so you got an F on that project.
Sure did.
And do you feel, in your opinion, that you did better than F work? Like, do you think it was like an A project, but that the teacher just didn't like it?
So I think when something becomes, I don't know, when you're a kid and you're given like tools that like you kind of know how, like, you know, that was a retarded idea. But what I was using, like this CAD system and like these like programs to design everything, it was a retarded idea, but it was like fitting together.
Like it technically sound.
It wasn't like it wouldn't have worked. It was like, you know, you ever seen Hollow Man, where they keep trying to put the molecules together and it goes around and then blows up, and then they finally get the one like it's stable. Like, dude, when I was throwing things into this machine or like this program and like drawing on mechanical like paper with like, you know, a mechanical pencil and like compass and shit, I'm like, this is never gonna work out. And it's like, no, what? Whoa, this actually
no way
be a thing. And it's like the only snag I honestly was getting hung up on was starting the chainsaws. So like, because I wanted them to all be like, you know, the fucking cranks. So like, you'd have to have them all starting out like with the pulley.
Dude, that's such a great fucking. I'm sorry, dude. That's such a hardcore idea.
It's so
fucking great, dude. It's so awesome.
It's the stupidest thing in the world, dude. It's like, and like the guy I was working with, he wasn't like, I wasn't even really working with him. Like, he was just in my group where we all had to like come up with something. And I came with that. He's like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, yo, imagine like a gun. Cause like I had joked around years ago with like a knife gun. Like a gun that just shoots knives out of it. He's like, isn't that just a bow and arrow? I'm like, no, dude, imagine like a pistol that like has a clip full of little knives. It's like so dumb. And then that like chainsaw cannon is crazy. I'm like, yo, but what if it was like a flaming chainsaw operating, flying through the air, like, and then when it hits the ground, like either it hits you and you die, or like it hits the ground and it explodes. Like it's gonna explode. There's gas in the chainsaw. It's on fire. It's gonna hit. It's gonna break apart. Like, come on. But yeah, the snag I was running into was having the, the string and like the pull start be like suspended enough so like as they would fall from the feeder, that would crank it and then it would have to let it go. I think that was the only thing I was really getting caught up on, is like, how can I get them to start? And then a buddy of mine was like, yo, what if it was like electric chainsaws? I'm like, get the fuck. I'm like, don't be dumb. I was like, it's gotta be gas powered.
Don't be ridiculous.
So I was like, what are we talking about? I'm like, I'm not going eco-friendly on this fucking weapon from hell, dude.
This is goddamn American hardware.
I was like, it's gonna be red, white, and blue, dude, all the way, dude. It's fucking all the time.
Yeah, dude, the reason I asked that is because I had a project my junior year, American Public Policy. We had to write, it was like our entire paper for the semester. It was like 80% of our grade or some shit. And we had to pick a topic and then defend one side of that topic. And I remember some of them were like heroin in the suburbs was one, euthanasia, fucking the death penalty, like real serious shit.
Yeah.
And I was a junior in high school. This was 2005. And it was when bum fights was really big. Jeez. And I chose, like, my topic was bum fights. And I asked the teacher if I could do it, like, because you had to get your topic cleared. She said yes. That was the only fucking thing I tried on in high school. And I wrote an A goddamn paper, dude. Like, my reasoning was, like, a bunch of freedom of speech bullshit and, like, fucking why it wasn't that bad for these bums. And, like, I don't believe any of this shit now. Like,
no, it was
bum fights is fucking awful. Like,
it was terrible for these bums,
dude, it's heinous shit. And, like, I cannot believe I ever supported this shit. But I was a dumb 16-year-old, dude. Fucking
exactly.
And dude, it was the only thing I ever tried on in high school, and it was an A goddamn paper. I got failed for it, and she literally wrote on the thing, "Do not like the subject matter," or like something. And dude, I remember I tore it up, threw it, got suspended. I was so furious, dude.
What a bummer.
Yeah, your chainsaw.
I mean, that's not
reminding me of that.
I got an F for that, but I didn't get in any trouble. I just got an F. The only project I ever got in trouble for and also got a failing grade was in 10th grade. We had this class called like career exploration, where it was like part of a social studies program, but it was like also for kids in special ed. So it was like, find out something you can do because you're not going to college whatsoever. So like a lot of the kids, and I mean my buddy Eric, he did a fucking project on, and it was like, yo man, he really, like, if you met Eric, I'm not saying he's the dumbest guy, I'm not saying he's the smartest guy, but I was severely impressed with his project. He went to an auto body shop, and I mean, it was almost like you were watching. You ever seen the show How It's Made, or how stuff?
Oh yeah.
Before those things even existed, he did that. It was like, it was insanely well done. I was like, damn, dude. But I picked, of course, because I was not taking anything fucking seriously.
Yeah.
Ever. Even before 9/11. I wasn't taking anything seriously. I picked professional wrestling for my career. And I remember when I said I was going to do that, my teacher, Miss Conrad, she was like, well, you have to be, like, I don't want to see any half-assing. Like, I don't want to see you just like, I don't want you coming in here with just like you talking about what wrestlers you like and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm going to do all the steps. There was like, you had to write a paper, you had to give a PowerPoint, and then you also had to have a video presentation. It was like, you had to have 3. It was like a full big ass, dude, it was like a half a year project.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what this one was. Yeah.
Yeah. It was almost like a senior thesis without a senior thesis. So I really, like, I typed up this like 4-page paper, like, and really outlined, the history of professional wrestling and what it is now, and like how things work, and like the different, like, between, like, even like history of like Greco-Roman wrestling and how like things, like all this crap. I really put in a lot of work. And then like my PowerPoint wasn't bad either. It was like a lot of visuals from like the 1970s going into like, and like I even went back into like, the 40s, like went back when wrestling was like a sideshow act, like, and how it was like a circus thing and like all this shit. But what really fucked me was that my video presentation was me and my buddy Sean, who went to Temple. We did a backyard wrestling match,
Oh boy.
and she was not pumped at all. And it was, I mean, it wasn't the best wrestling. I mean, we're dumb fucking, we're in 10th grade. But what really got her was I put Sean on a piece of drywall, and then I jumped off the shed to put him through it. And like I landed on the ground, and it was just like shit flying everywhere. And the look on her face the whole time was just like,
just horrified.
Complete worry. Now, Sean did not at that point in time go to my high school. He went to a private school. So I went home, like, the presentation was over. I was not told what grade I was going to be given. She didn't really say anything. She was like, okay, we're going to be moving on to blah, 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 blah now. So nothing was said. Later I think it was not that day, but the next day, the administration had called my house and spoke to my mom that like they were worried for the welfare of my well-being. And like my mom was like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, and there's also we're worried about the situation and welfare of another boy who we don't know. He does not go to school. Like my mom was so pissed. She was like, what do you mean? And I ended up failing the class, and they wouldn't even let me do they wouldn't let me do that project over again. And it was just like, fuck, man. Like,
that sucks. You're like, you think you're worried about my welfare? We have cable.
I was like, so you. I got the Food Network now, and it is like, you know what it is? I have VH1, MTV, and the box. You can go fuck yourself, lady. You don't even get it. You don't even get it.
Oh man, that sucks, dude. Like, especially having put in all that effort, man.
Yeah, it's fine, man. It's like, look at me now, dude.
Yeah, right. Shit worked out. You're literally a pro wrestler, dude.
I mean, again wishing that the pro wrestling stuff I do, I will look at it. I am doing two things that I said in high school that I would love to do as like my profession, but I am doing, like, I went to high school with a bunch of kids who literally thought they were going to be in the NBA or or be on a professional baseball team or fucking doctors and writers and all this other shit. And like, I'm the only one doing two of the things I said I was going to do. So I got that going for me. I literally said, I was like, yo, I'm going to be a professional wrestler and I'm going to be on TV and maybe doing stand-up stuff. You guys watch. And it's like, no, right after high school, I got a job at a gas station. So I don't know if I was on the fast track. I don't know.
Hell yeah, man. But shit, we're about over an hour now, actually, man.
Yeah,
that flew by.
It did.
Ryan Shaner, I just want to say thank you again for. Where can people find you, man? Like, if people want more Shaner?
Yeah, man. Check me out on the End Podcast with Ryan Shaner. Please check out the Patreon. You can find me on Instagram, Shaner Cobbedy, ShanerCobbedy. And you can find me on Twitter at Shaner_comedy_. And please just check out what we're doing, man. Check out Good Boy Comedy too. Everything under the Good Boy Comedy branch is just killing it right now.
Hell yeah. All right. Thank you, man. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Nick.
Later.